Hello, I'm Haley, and this is Taya, and welcome to Haley and Taya Rip Up Supernatural and Start Over, and also sometimes talk about other stuff, a podcast.
Also known as HATRUSA, and today we are talking about Season 1, Episode 9, Home, which originally aired on November 15th of 2005.
And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. In order to try and cut down on the summary time, I'm going to try and give, and we're going to time it, a 3-minute summary. Less than 3 minutes, even. And then Taya's going to go in and addendum details that they think are important that I missed. I'm going to wait till my recording says it starts at 1 minute. Okay, so we start off with a woman, and she has just moved into a new house in Lawrence, Kansas, and she has 2 kids, and oh, the daughter is scared of something in the closet. That's so crazy. What happened in the closet? Probably Randall from Monsters Inc. It's fine. Anyway, it's fine. The closet door opens. Chair moves out. Well, the chair moves out of the way. Closet door opens. Girl screams. We cut. Sam wakes up from a nightmare because Sam is having nightmares. We've covered this already before in a previous episode that he has been having psychic premonitions in his dreams. Dean is working on finding new cases, but Sam's like, no, I know where we have to go. He's like drawing this tree over and over, and he's like, oh my god, that tree was on our property. And so then Sam tells Dean, hey, we need to go home. And Dean's like, fuck that. And Sam's like, no, here's the thing, I'm a psychic. He doesn't say that, but basically that's what's going on. So Sam convinces Dean, and they go travel back to Lawrence, Kansas, where they came from. Dean hates it. Dean hates being home because he promised he never would be home. They go to the woman's house, and she's like, oh my god, hi. I just found a box last night with pictures of you guys in it, because Sam was like, hey, we used to live here. And Dean's like, yeah. And the woman's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I found you guys' pictures. Come on in. And she's being very nice to them. But then she's like, yeah, you guys' house is like kind of weird. Like, there's plumbing problems and there's rats and stuff. Dean and Sam are like, huh, have you ever seen the rats? And she's like, no, just heard the scratching. And they're like, curious.
You never see rats.
What?
You never see rats. When you do have rats.
Yeah.
As someone who's had rats.
Right.
Or mice.
So then... Oh, Jenny calls the plumber, but then the plumber gets fucking destroyed. Anyway, they go to a garage, speak to a guy. John sucks. They find out that John went to see a psychic. They go to the psychic. The psychic comes to the house, finds out that there's spirits there. And they're like, well, that's crazy. But then, oh, what's the spirit? It's not evil? That's so crazy. Oh, it's Mom? Oh my god! The spirit is Mom. Mom is haunting the house, trying to protect the house from a poltergeist. And then they leave, they fix it, and Mary says sorry to Sam, and Dean cries a little bit. Missouri then goes home. Dean and Sam drive away, and Missouri is left to, like, walk home or whatever. But then Missouri gets home, and who's there? John Winchester, who refuses to talk to his children. And there is my 3-minute summary.
Okay, you didn't do bad. I do feel like I talk a lot, and everyone knows this. So here are things I'm gonna add. 1, the mom finds the box of things before her daughter screams.
Yes.
2, she actually finds the picture of literally the exact same picture of like Sam, Dean, Mary, and John standing out by a tree that the boys end up using to compare to Sam's tree drawings.
Right.
The reason Sam convinces Dean that they should go is he said, I was dreaming about Jess for days before she died.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that because that's in my notes.
Yeah, that's very important to me because it's a Jess mention.
It's super important.
And I like Jess. As everyone knows at this point, I like Jess. When they go visit, at first I thought it was like super weird that someone was like, hey, we used to live here. Can we come look at your house? And then I remembered like someone did that to my family once and we let them look around the house. So I can't judge this woman.
Right.
Because my parents did the exact same thing. That's off topic and not part of the summary. But anyway, when they're in the house, they meet the 2 kids, and the little girl is like, you should ask them if, like, the monster was in the closet when they were here. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
At one point, Sam and Dean, did you talk about how Sam and Dean talk about how Dean carried Sam out of the house?
Nope, skipped that, because I was going to talk about that in my notes, too.
Okay, cool. And then after they have a minute, Dean calls John asking for help because he's like, like stressed. There's a plumber who comes, who gets his hand almost chopped off, but he lives. There's no deaths in this episode.
It's a no death episode.
Yeah, and there's also a creepy monkey with symbols while he's trying to fix the plumbing before he gets his hand cut off. It's a bad scene. I didn't watch it. Haley did and made
It was really
noises.
bad. It was really, really bad.
Hold on, I'm skimming. Missouri is there. Missouri's great. Missouri is very nice. I don't know if I have anything to add about her other than she just knows who they are, and she knows about Jess, and she knows John is gone because, you know, she's psychic.
Yeah.
So they go to the house to see Jenny. They stick hex bags. I don't know if they actually call them hex bags in this episode.
They don't.
I'm so sorry if you can hear my dog barking now. They stick hex bags in the walls to try to get rid of the poltergeist, which they almost fail. Like, they literally all almost die. And Missouri, like, gets bashed with, like, a huge thing of machinery, like, just at the waist and legs. And she's fine. Like, the woman's a tank, apparently. And Sam gets strangled by an electrical cord, but they seem to have purified the house. And Missouri's like, we good. And Sam is like, I don't think we good, but okay. And so, like, the whole family comes back and they leave, except they don't leave because Sam and Dean decide to stake out outside the house and chill. So when the mom, her name is Jenny, comes banging on the window, which is what Sam had been dreaming about, a woman screaming and banging on the windows, he's like, we have to go in. And so they go in, they get Jenny out, Sam is getting the kids out, and then he realizes he's about to get got, so he gives the younger brother to the sister, who, by the way, at one point the younger brother gets stuck in a fridge, but he's fine. It's not really a big deal, honestly.
Yeah, and he literally doesn't He doesn't
cry.
Oh my god, I totally left out that
eh.
part. That was kind of an important part about the poltergeist. Yeah, the poltergeist, like, Jenny goes to check something, and the poltergeist unlatches Richie's playpen, and Richie's like, okay, and then the poltergeist unlocks the fridge, and there's juice in the fridge, and it's established early on that Richie loves juice! So that's when Richie climbs into the fridge.
And then it closes and locks. The mom is freaking out looking for him, and then she sees milk leaking, and he's in the fridge, and I checked. Technically, fridges are airtight, but he was probably only in there for like 2 minutes, so he's fine. Like, in the moment, it was probably very scary, but like, he's fine. But Sam gives Richie to the little girl whose name is, I think, Sorry. Basically says the same thing that John told Dean, which was like, take your brother and get out of the house.
Take Sorry and run out of the house as fast as you can. Don't look back.
It's Richie. It's not Sorry.
Take Richie run out of the house.
And so Sam is getting attacked, and Sorry tells Dean that Sam got attacked, and so Dean runs in with like a rifle and is ready to shoot it, and Sam's like, don't do it, I know who it is. And the flames, because I don't think we mentioned it, it's like a spirit covered in flames.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention the fact that
it's Mary, it's their mom.
It's their mom.
And she just like looks at them and she says that she's sorry. And then she turns around and is like, let go of my son. And she basically cancels out the poltergeist energy with her own, effectively vanishing. And Missouri is like, we don't know what happens when a ghost cancels out a poltergeist. And then Sam and Dean leave after Missouri establishes that Sam knew something was there when she didn't, so like implying he has much stronger powers than her. And then she goes back home and is like, I'm gonna slap you, John Winchester. And I'm like, mood. And for once, an episode ends without them driving away. It ends in like the most abrupt, sudden, like just cut. He's like, I wish I could talk to my boys. And she's like, then do it. And he's like, I can't, not until I figure out what's going on. And she's like, I'm gonna smack you. And I'm like, you should.
We did
and that's our summary.
I think this one works for us. We gotta do this more often.
Woohoo! Yeah, I'm so sorry for all the times we've got on for 20 minutes lost and confused.
We're almost on episode 10. That's what it took us. So,
we're learning.
You know what? And here's the thing, though. Summaries are gonna get more convoluted the more we go on, because shit gets fucking bonkers.
Well, here's the thing. Once we get out of the Monster of the Week format, they're either going to get more convoluted because more things are happening in the overarching plot, or they're going to be less convoluted because we're just going to be like, so you know how in last episode this happened?
Right, that's true.
It's still happening.
You know what? Since we've already finished our summary.
We'll have to see. We're stuck, I think, in Monster of the Week for the rest of pretty much of season 1. I'm pretty sure season 1 is like exclusively Monster of the Week.
Yeah, I think it might continue a little bit in season 2, but I don't remember enough of season 2 to say that for sure.
Thinking about the beginning, I think about halfway through season
Right.
2, it switches to the Sam plot, but I think they do try to keep up Monster of the Week, and then they'll drop
And
it
they try
in
to
every so
be like,
often in
look,
later
guys, it's the
seasons.
same. And you're like,
But
no,
once.
it's really not.
Yeah, no. But the longer the show goes on, the less Monster of the Weeks you'll see, which is why I can see why they went with the finale that they did, where they were like, we're just going on a fun, goofy hunt. But, like, it feels very strange after so many seasons of not having Monster of the Weeks. But anyway, we can immediately go
Haley's notes.
to Haley's notes.
I took less notes than last time, but still more notes than the other ones.
Haley liked this episode
Also,
a lot.
I think it's just more notes because my notes were longer. My first note is that this episode finally had a different previously on.
Oh my god, yes, that I almost didn't notice, but pretty much all of them have been...
I noticed immediately.
And if you do, which you should, when we open our Patreon, you should join it, and you should listen to our commentary because we are hilarious. You can either watch along, or you can just listen to us talk with no context, which might actually be funnier.
And, like, occasionally I might scream, and I'm sorry about it, but, like, the hand sync thing was really gross.
Yeah, but pretty much in every single one we've done so far, we've been like, I've been like, God damn it, change the preview already. And they changed it. They changed it for once. That previously on Supernatural, they finally made it things that were relevant to this episode, opposed to what they had been doing, which was for the past, what is this, episode 9? For the past 8 episodes, well, past 7 because the first one doesn't count. It's been exactly the same. This one they actually used ones that were relevant. To be fair, they were very similar. It was very similar to the other previously on, but that's just because this episode is so similar to, it's so dependent on what happened in the pilot and what happened when they were kids that, like, of course, that's how they're previously, but, like, it's nice for them to finally be able to do previously ons that are different, so I don't have to listen to them say the same thing every episode.
Yeah, agreed. So let's hope that they continue that. I will definitely make a comment next episode. The next note is Taya has that same pot lid because Taya said that they think they have the same pot lid.
I think I do. There's a pot lid when she's emptying the boxes, and I was like, I think I have that pot lid. Looks very familiar.
And then my next comment is little girl is scared of Random Monsters Inc. because every time I think of the monster in the closet trope, which I know is like the biggest trope ever, all I can think of is Random Monsters Inc. because he's the scary one that Boo's scared of in the closet, not Sully. It's only Random Monsters Inc. Anyway. Then the chair is being dragged across the floor and it's squeaking and making horrible noise.
God.
And Taya was like, wow, I don't think chairs make that much noise. And I was like, well, maybe it's made of lead. So I wrote heavy chair made of lead.
It was just a wooden chair and it didn't look heavy, and I was like, there's no reason it should be making this much noise unless like someone was sitting in it as it was getting dragged. So like
maybe that's the implication.
It was just some ghost bullshit nonsense sounds. That's my take.
Yeah, it was just
bullshit nonsense sounds.
It was just silly time. Anyway, that's fine. Then I wrote picture of John Winchester is the scariest part because she finds the picture box and John Winchester is there, and
it wasn't even the scariest part though because John Winchester is in this fucking episode. Yeah, we got to the last scene and Haley went, oh my god, John is in this episode, and I was like, why didn't you warn me? I need to be mentally prepared for when John fucking went. Again, this is a John Winchester hate podcast. If you like him,
John Winchester.
If you like him, you're valid. Your opinion is valid, but we hate him. We hate him a lot, and we are very vocal about it. So if you haven't figured that out by now, I'm pretty sure we announced it in the
John Winchester.
Huh?
Leave.
Did you just say if you kin John Winchester?
Yes.
Okay.
Leave.
Only one of you can stay. No doubles.
No double. Wait, what?
I don't know. I'm so tired, Haley.
Who's kidding John Winchester on this podcast?
I don't know.
Because it's not me.
It's not me. Well, there can only be one John Winchester kid who listens. Duke it out in the comments.
So
I'm cutting that part out. That was stupid.
No, don't cut it.
I'm so tired.
I wrote this. John Winchester kins, fight in the comments. Then I wrote, this girl is scared of ghosts but not clowns, because the little girl has like a fucking freaky ass clown doll next to her bed, like on her headboard, and it was scary, and she's like screaming about the ghost or monster that might be in her closet, but she's not freaking about the scary clown doll she has.
I mean, to be fair, I think
sorry.
I feel like kids are a lot less scared of clowns than adults tend to be.
I was scared of clowns when I was a kid, so...
Never mind.
I had a very scary little porcelain clown baby doll, and one time, I don't know, like, I had it in my room for a long time, but then one night I had an absolute breakdown about it and wouldn't go back into my room until my mom took it out.
Wow. That's a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry for your trauma.
Yeah, it's okay. Sam draw good trees is my next note, because that was when he was drawing trees. Then I have sleepless motel, LOL, because I'm pretty sure the notepad says, like, at the top of the notepad, it has the logo or, like, name of the motel they're staying at, and I'm pretty sure it said sleepless motel. I'm actually gonna go back and just check that really quick.
Okay, I was trying to see if this...
If you want to riff for a second.
Oh God, you're just gonna leave me to riff? I don't have anything to riff about. We haven't reached anything riff worthy.
Just do a little riff.
This episode was not ideal for riffing, honestly. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I did not have many funny things to say, and I continue to not have many funny things to say. I butchered that sentence. I still think that the Hunters should have a Discord, and I think that there should be someone when they say, hey, we're headed back to Kansas to check out some possible ghosts.
I found it.
Okay.
It doesn't say sleepless, it says sleep easy motel.
Okay, well, that's less fun. I was just gonna say, I think that in the Discord they should be like, update, like, location update, we're going to Kansas, we're going back home to check out some ghost activity, and someone should comment, LOL, I bet it's your mom. And then it is.
God, your mom jokes.
Yeah. There's gotta be a few assholes in the Hunter Discord, like...
Oh, for sure.
It's probably pretty big, and probably, like, the only requirement is that you're a hunter, and, like, they don't really like to ban people because, like, they need all the hunters they can get, and they need all the expertise they could get, so you just have some people who are assholes. And,
there's at least one incel.
And make jokes about their dead mom.
My next note... My next note is, y'all get haircuts, because they looked like they had gotten haircuts. They looked very young.
Yeah, Sam especially. It's easier to notice with Sam because his hair is already longer, but Dean looked like he also got a... Yeah. Anyway.
I think he also shaved. I then wrote, Sam told Dean the secret about Jess, because in a previous episode, Sam was like, I have secrets, and Dean was like, what's your secret? And Sam was like, no. And Dean was like, okay. Well, the secret was that he had been having premonitions about Jess before she died, and in this episode, he tells Dean the secret.
Yeah, well, now no one can use the secret against him. He should have just told him this during Bloody Mary, but, like, fuck that, I guess, you know? Yeah.
Then I wrote, I think I love Sam, with a little crying emoji.
Yeah, you had a moment where you were just like, I think I like Sam. And I was like, yeah, because Sam's good.
I had a moment. And, like, I've never, like, disliked Sam, you know? But he was just, like, really lovable in this episode.
He's very concerned.
I really like early Sam.
He's very anxious.
I think I forgot how much I love early Sam because I've been watching later Supernatural so much, you know?
Yeah, I've said it a few times, but personally, early Sam is my favorite. In retrospect, soulless Sam is kind of hilarious, but once he gets his soul back, he is never exactly the same. And you can talk about how, like, he lost his innocence or whatever, but I would argue he lost it as a child. So, like,
when he was literally
but yeah, born. He, like, obviously they both grow up a lot, but I would say Sam's personality becomes it just changes over the course of the show. And the show, in my memory, again, I only watched through season 9. After season 5, the show leans a little bit more into Dean than Sam because Dean has always been the fan favorite. Probably mostly in part because of Destiel, but not entirely. I think people just like him a lot more than Sam, because Sam was, like, you know, the boring, like, nice guy.
He's the little brother.
Like, he's the nerd. But I definitely think he kind of gets sidelined a little bit personality-wise. Yeah. So early Sam is really good and very near and dear to my heart, and I love him.
So, not to dodge out on this early Sam conversation, but because I do love it, but my next note is, this woman is so nice. because Jenny is so nice to them.
Jenny is really
She
nice. She's like, she
no
insults
reason
their
to
house
be
and then
so
is
nice.
like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, and they're like, no, it's fine.
We haven't lived
But
here for like 20
she's
years.
just so sweet. She's so sweet, and I believe that she gives her children so much.
Yeah, it's sad because, like, I don't think that they gave her much depth. They gave Missouri, who's coming up, a lot more depth because she's gonna be a repeat character. But as of one-off characters, I don't think... Jenny's very sweet. I don't think she had much of a character.
For sure. She's just sweet mom.
She's sweet mom who's in distress.
Yeah, which, oh my god, is she supposed to, like, serve as, like, a, look, there's a sweet mom living in your house. You never had that. Huh.
Maybe?
Perhaps. Anyway, then I wrote, Dean told Sam he carried him out with a frowny face because Dean tells Sam that he was the one who carried him out of the burning house, and that's part of Dean's, like, trauma related to it, is that, like, he had to save his, like, little brother, and he was like, that was on him or whatever.
He's since he was like 4, Sam has always been his responsibility, and that's gonna be a repeat theme.
And it will be a repeat theme until the last episode.
It'll be a repeat theme until he fucking dies
Till he fucking dies.
For finally.
For real.
When we finally get that permadeath.
Can you be nice? Can you be fucking nice?
When we get that permadeath.
Oh my god. I just like that, and I also like all the secrets that came out in this episode. It's a big secret breaker, this episode.
It is. I think it's because they go home.
Yeah, and it's like a big thing.
Yeah.
I like this episode. So then I wrote Sync Horror Part 2, which we've already dabbled on. But
I didn't watch it.
I didn't like it.
I just, whenever people in this show stick their arms down sinks, I'm like, this is going to end horribly.
Well, immediately after Sync Horror Part 2, I wrote, I do this little thing in my notes where I do an indent and an arrow if I have a note related to the last note. And the note relating to the last note says, I hated it so much. Yeah. Taya left me alone.
I turned away. If you listen to the recording, I think you can actually hear, because I turned around so I wasn't facing the mic.
Yeah, they literally distanced themselves from the
I didn't want to watch it. I just didn't.
Which is fair, but it was bad, and I hated it. I then wrote, that's so crazy that people knew that John was doing so bad, and no one looked out for the kids, because when they talked to the mechanic dude, the mechanic's like, yeah, John wasn't doing great after the house burnt down. Those kids, he loved those kids, but, like, he just started being a little weird. And, like, they knew he had kids. Why didn't anybody, like, be like, hey, John?
Give your kids to someone else, because you're clearly working through a lot.
Yeah, do you need a break? Like, do you have someone else you can bring your
and
kids to?
And the answer is no, he didn't really have someone else he could give the kids to, but I personally don't think the answer is like this show didn't give us a clear timeline on when they left this town, but we can assume that Sam was still really young.
Yeah,
and that's not like they're faking all sorts of IDs, so it doesn't matter. But like that's like, I've mentioned it before, it's like such a bad environment for kids to grow up in, like on the road, in hotels, studying when they can. In a future episode, they'll like briefly...
Constantly changing schools.
If they go to school. In a future episode, they briefly go to high school, but like, it's
a good fucking episode. Oh my god.
It's like, why... he went to Missouri, and Missouri was gonna stay put, and I know this is like a fandom thing, but like... And it would completely change the show if they didn't have this trauma of a lifetime of hunting, but I really wish that John had found somebody, like, even if it was Bobby, because Bobby doesn't...
like, some sort of retired hunter.
Well, I don't know if Bobby was retired at the time, but Bobby never seemed to really go on hunts. He was always, like, kind of like a headquarters kind of guy, like the guy behind the... Like in superhero or spy movies, like the guy behind the screen who's, like, in your ear.
I was gonna compare him to Wade from Kim Possible.
Yes, exactly. But, like, at least then they have, like, a stable living place. And they would be in, like, a school system. I don't know. They'd
still have an alcoholic father.
They would. But, like, I'm saying I think even then, like, yes, Bobby is an alcoholic, but, like, he never came off as manipulative to me, and that might change.
No, and he was a father.
Yeah, and they had no stability at any point in their life. And, like, because I don't even know if I want to call that brief. It was like they were only in high school for that episode for like a few weeks.
For like a month.
And that's not stability.
No.
And that they gotta have a lot of trauma for that. And Sam got his college Sam got his 4 years of college, but Dean has never gotten any. And I just have a lot of beef.
And he never will.
Nope, he never will. Oh wait, no, he has like
I cannot talk about this right now.
I'm gonna talk about it since Haley can't.
Oh,
there's like maybe 6 months where after Sam dies at the end of season 5, where Dean goes back to Lisa and Ben and lives with them. And that is the most stability that Dean ever gets in his life.
And it's the best thing he could have had.
Yeah, and he's not a hunter. He's just a dude. Because I was gonna say, you could argue the bunker they find with like the Men of Letters bunker thingy later on is kind of a place of stability, but I would argue that it isn't really because they're still on that hunter grind. But, yeah. Fuck John Winchester. This was a long... I don't even remember what the original note was. Let's move on, please.
The original note was about John being a bad dad.
Oh, okay. Then never mind. We were still on topic.
Then Missouri got introduced, and I said, Missouri's voice is so gentle. Because it's so gentle.
I love Missouri.
So soft.
I love Missouri.
She's a very good
Missouri
character.
I
forgot how good she was.
Character. And I do want to say, and I said this in the commentary too, that she definitely falls into a lot of stereotypes of black women. And for a majority of the show, she is the only reoccurring black female character that we can currently remember. The other one being Billy, who is both evil and also dies, and is in a much shorter section of the show.
Evil dies, is death, and then dies again.
Yeah. But Missouri is wonderful, but she also is like, for some reason, she's the only character with a southern accent. I don't know why. They're in Kansas.
I don't know.
But she falls into the like comforting mother, particularly toward white kids. She threatens to hit people with spoons, which is a very minor stereotype, but she really exists in this episode to like exposit and solve their magic problems for the most part. And then even then, her powers, even though she is acknowledged in universe to be incredibly powerful, she acknowledged she is less powerful than this untrained white kid. So, I love Missouri. I love her a lot. But also, since she is for so long the only black woman in the show, it really stands out where she does fall into some of those stereotypes. But I also do love her because she's just, like,
so
nice.
Good.
She's nice and she cares about them a lot. And, like...
Basically, we love Missouri.
We love Missouri.
We love her.
We acknowledge the problems that exist with her character. And fuck the anime design. We will retweet that tweet.
Yeah. And we don't want to change her, but we want her to have more.
Yeah, because I think she pretty much only exists to be a psychic. Like, she does have that mothering quality for Sam and Dean, which, again, has its own issues because she is the only black woman. If there were, like, other black women, it wouldn't be as much of a problem because she wouldn't kind of be, like, representative of all black women. But since for most seasons, she is the only reoccurring black female character, if not the only reoccurring black character, it's very, like, So, anyway.
Yeah. So, anyway. Then I wrote, Baby Man just got fridged because the child got thrown in the fridge.
The kid got fridged. Yes, he got fridged.
It was really funny in the worst way. I'm sorry, but he just climbs in there and then it closes.
Also, there's something wacky going on with their fridge where there's like a shelf, like they had taken the shelf out of the middle so the kid could fit in. Yeah. And instead of not having the shelf in the fridge at all, it's just leaning against the side. And I was like, did the mom do that? Did the ghost do that? Who did this? Why is your fridge rearranged this way? I am judging you.
Right.
Anyway.
It was very strange. There was a perfect child-shaped hole in there.
There really was.
Missouri really just lays into Dean. And then I wrote, like, I love side characters just ragging on Dean.
Me too.
A lot of, I mean, I don't know if, I can't remember if it's a recurring thing, but, like, in the last episode with Joe Joe Whitetree.
Hell yeah. I love Joe.
And in this episode with Missouri, it's just, like, characters just ragging on Dean because he's a shithead. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have my big note.
Yeah.
We are removing Missouri as the sidekick and making her a hunter therapist. In place of her, the new sidekick is a pastel bubblegum pop girl, and she has a goth girlfriend who everyone assumes is the sidekick, but no, it's the pink one.
Yes. And we also...
This is one of our big additions for our rewrite.
Yes. And so, first of all, this ties into the Hunter Network having therapists not only for themselves, but also for other victims of these crimes. It also adds in some queer representation. And also, I want to be clear, we are definitely adding more Black women into this story. Like that, like, Black women and other women of color. Like, I don't want people to take this as, oh, we're taking this Black woman and we're just putting her in a therapist role so she can listen to white dudes whine and help them. Like, no, we just think Missouri has, like, that good therapy, like, she'd be very good at, like, helping people through shit vibe.
Yeah. I said it because, like, I would listen to her forever.
Yeah, and she has good advice. She's very comforting. She's very calming. She knows about the supernatural. She's not going to really, like, tell you you're wrong about anything. She just has good therapist vibes. And we are just, like, there would be so many other Black women in here who are diverse other characters, so we're not just making the one Black woman relegated to a therapist. I promise. Yes. Like, that, I would never do that. I think she would. And that is
in part the reason we made the decision to remove her as psychic, because we didn't want her having, like, all of these, like, roles, like, oh, you're just...
Yeah, she's like the mom, she's the therapist, she's the expositionist via magic, psychic powers whenever the boys are in trouble. Like, no. Now it's a cute pastel lesbian and her goth GF who is just here for a good time.
Yeah. So it's a really fun addition. We have, if anybody wants to draw fan art of our...
We don't have any designs for them other than one of them is pastel and the other is goth.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all we
draw
got.
Fan art.
Tag us. Or tell us we have shitty ideas. Interact with us on social media.
My next note is Sam said the same thing John said to Dean. The parallel. And then a crying face.
Yes.
It really got me. Basically, when the paranormal thing is happening and fire happens or whatever happens, I don't remember, I'm tired. Sam picks up both children, and I was like, oh my god. What?
It's a poltergeist, because Mary's the other spirit.
Right.
Mary's
so
fire.
The poltergeist is doing her shit, and then Sam picks up Sari and Richie.
Yeah.
And, like, starts running them out, but then something else happens, and Sam hands Richie to Sari and is like, Sari, take Richie outside and go run, just don't look back or whatever, and said the same thing that John said to Zine. Then I wrote Taya on a roll again, saying exactly what gets said. I don't remember exactly what got said, but Taya said exactly what got said before it got said. Yeah.
I don't even remember this happening, but then proud of myself,
Sam
I guess.
Looks super baby, because sometimes Sam looks super baby, and this was one of the episodes where he looked super baby.
Sometimes he looks super, super, super baby. He looks super baby. Sometimes sometimes there's just angles, and you're like, this is a child.
Like, I feel like I'm not allowed to say he looks super baby, because, like, he's my age right now, but, like, he just looks like he's 14.
Now we can say he looks baby. He's a fictional character.
That's true. Then my last note is, oh my god, John. And then added to that is, Taya is mad at me because I forgot John is in this episode. Taya's pissed off.
I was so mad. I wasn't mentally prepared. Listen, I need mental preparation for when John is going to appear, because I get so angry at him. Oh, we actually somehow did end up running long still because you had so many notes. Yeah, and I usually chop off about 5 minutes. So we actually did pretty good.
So our next segment is
we did okay.
There's none. And then after that,
there's none. Again, it's literally Missouri is there and Jenny is there.
And then hold on. Hey.
And they're not in the same age group.
Hold on. Ready?
What?
Our next segment after crack shipping is brought to you by... There was no music in this episode. This episode
there
is
was no music.
No brought to you by.
There's 0 songs. There's no brought to you by.
And then our next one after that is our fave wiki page thing, which we do have.
Actually, to be clear, I have two again. However, instead of two good things, I have a least favorite thing on the wiki page and a favorite thing. So here is my least favorite thing. Whoever is in charge of this wiki page, you are working so hard. Thank you for your work because we are constantly using it, and maybe one of us should join your Discord, even though it's very huge, so we can thank you and also promote our own podcast. Right. However, you have featured supernatural beings as an aspect on your wiki. And one of them is special children / special child, parentheses, Sam Winchester. And I have not been able to figure out why he sometimes is in this and sometimes isn't. Because I was like, is it because sometimes he uses his psychic powers and other times he does not? But then I would argue he is always the special child. So he should always be on this list. But he is not always on this list. Sometimes he is on this list. Other times, he is not on this list, and it drives me fucking insane. I literally cannot stand the fact that sometimes it says special children / child, parentheses, Sam Winchester, and sometimes it does not, because Sam is in every goddamn episode. So if someone who does the wiki could explain to me what is going on, please at us, please DM us on Instagram or Twitter or Tumblr, or we have a fucking email. You could email us. Like, I need answers. Do you want to say your favorite thing, or should I say my favorite thing?
I'll say my favorite thing first. My favorite thing on the wiki is under continuity. It's the note that says, when Sam tells Sorry to carry her brother outside, he says almost the same thing his father, John, told Dean the night Mary died, which I already mentioned, but it was my favorite thing in the episode. It really got me.
My favorite thing on this one is actually the entirety of the errors section, because there's like a bunch of errors in this episode. But I actually changed mine from what I told Haley, and my favorite is when Dean runs back into the house to rescue Sam, you can see the shadow of the cameraman, which it's completely pointless. I just think it's very funny that one, someone noticed that, and two, it was funny enough that they put it in the wiki.
Yeah, that is really good.
I love errors. But you should look at the errors for this episode, because it's like, here's an error, here's an error, here's an error, here's a big error. Like, it's funny.
It's a good one.
Anyway, the continuity section is also rough.
So out of our rating scale right now, I know sometimes we do rating and sometimes we don't. This is a rating
We
episode.
like rate it like, we barely ever rate episodes.
I need to write in.
We did it like
hold
twice.
On, I'm going to add in to my little schedule that we have to start rating episodes.
Oh my god.
So
I'm not good at rating things, but you
I'm not either. It
tell
has
us
to
your
be a
rating.
made-up rating. So
okay.
Today's episode is going to be rated 8 out of 10 fiery ghosts.
8 out of 10 fiery ghosts?
I am taking away points for the plethora of continuity and errors, and also the fact that Dean made me sad.
John is there?
John is there, yes.
And I, in comparison, will tell you that the IMDb rating for this episode is an 8.9 out of 10.
Oh, shit.
Which is a full 1.9 up from last week.
Wow.
Which was 7.
That's intense.
People said fuck bugs.
Fuck bugs, dude.
So, thank you for listening to our podcast. We're not done?
Wait, I don't actually... Do I ask the questions before you say the thank yous?
No, I do that first, and then you ask the questions.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Continue.
We're really good at this. So thank you for listening to our podcast. Please share, subscribe, follow, whatever you do on the platform you listen to us on. Please tell your friends about it, because we don't advertise this podcast very well because we don't know how marketing works. So you should tell your friends, even if they don't like Supernatural, because we will explain every episode to you in a much more fun way, and it's we're funnier, we're more enjoyable, and you never have to look at John Winchester.
Right.
That is our selling point. You never have to look at John Winchester.
If my younger brother, who has never watched Supernatural ever, can listen to this podcast, you can listen to this podcast.
I promise. We have friends who listen who have never watched Supernatural who enjoy it. So you should tell your friends to listen to it, because we would like at least 10 listeners.
And speaking of
the number 10,
promoting us on social media, I recently made a post on my personal social media, and I said that I would give personal shout outs to anybody who retweeted it. I only have 3 retweets. My 3 retweets, I would like to give a shout out to Joey at the next Joe Star. That's my little baby brother. Thank you, Joey, for retweeting my tweet about HATRUSA. The next one is Nella at NotGers. That's my girlfriend. Thanks, Mace. Shout out to you. And the third one is some wild bitch named Taya at Taya Blooming. Never heard of, what's this? In their description, it says co-host of Hatrusa. That's fucking crazy. Wonder who that
That's
could
wild. That's so strange.
But that's the end of those are my personal shout-outs. If you want a shout-out, retweet.
You should tweet at us.
Yeah,
you should tweet at us.
Tweet at us, dude.
Tweet at us.
Oh my god.
Interact with us. Tell us how shitty our ideas are or how good they are.
Yeah, and like if you want a personal tweet out, like if you get on the schedule, if you tweet at us 5 times, I will DM you and say anything you want. Except
within
if it's
reason.
like, within reason. Don't make me say bad things, please.
Yeah. And also, you should get excited and tell other people because next week we are doing a special episode because it is our 10th episode. That made sense.
10th episode that we're watching.
Yeah, it's the 10th episode of Supernatural, and every 10 episodes, hypothetically, we are going to have a guest who we are going to attempt to explain Supernatural to, despite the fact that they have not watched any previous episodes of Supernatural, and are also not going to watch this episode with us.
Yeah, so they're going to be they don't know what's going on, and this guest star is Macy at Knockers, my girlfriend, and it's going to be really fun.
Hopefully, it's not a whole disaster, but it will be a longer episode because it's going to be
nuts.
A lot. It's going to be a lot.
So look forward to our special guest episode.
Yes.
And it'll be really great. But, hey, Taya.
Hey, what?
I have a question.
Yes?
Will we be dealing with some questionable content next time?
Almost definitely. Almost definitely, my dude.
Will we be dealing with the classic crazy doctor?
I really wish we weren't.
Time?
I really wish we weren't, but I think we are.
We are.
I can't wait.
So
I can wait, but
it's fine. So we'll catch you on the flip side.
Catch you on the flip side.